when I look at this whole topic, there's a lot of things that concern me about it. The first thing I want to say is that this city council, when we first got started, we voted that we wanted to maintain the structure of city council. So that's an of-record resolution from the 13 members of council here. Some voted for, some voted against it. That's important for Dover to understand that. And I did not believe that it was appropriate for a resolution from 2016. So that's a whole totally different city council. When we organized in our organizational documents, we did not adopt the content of that resolution. We did not create the committee that was created. And so I'm concerned that this really was not in connection with the resolution from the last council, but that this was something that was created by you, the president, because we did not vote to create this commission. And I just want that to be my view as a matter of record, because I don't see how a prior council is able to determine what we have and don't have, particularly given we voted ourselves as to item number 1. The next thing is, I've been living through a lot over time where I've paid attention to the ebbs and flows of city council. And so I've studied how the city council itself has gained greater diversity over the years. And a lot of that had to do with population changes, and it also had to do with Voting Rights Act advocacy, because the mechanisms, the little trick games that can be played can have devastating impact on political outcomes. And so it's a question from the beginning for me, when out of the clear blue sky there's this whole long list of tinkering with our form of government after the minority community has spent multiple decades learning how to effectively participate. To me, it's kind of like Tiger Woods and Wilt Chamberlain, where people want to change the rules of the game once folks get good at playing the game. So that concerns me. The next thing is that all people get to vote for their candidates of choice. And so when you start enlarging the size of districts, so in this case, the issue of cutting city council in half, the essence of that is to increase the size of the districts, which then makes it more difficult for people who don't have a lot of money to be able to run for office effectively. The size of the districts we have now are such that if you're a person who wants to participate at the district level, it's a manageable size without the people who want to own and buy our government being able to keep you out. So if the millionaires and political parties outside of Wilmington don't want you elected, they may not be able to stop you in a small district. And so the whole notion of trying to increase the size of the district is totally contrary to Voting Rights Act notions in light of what we have here. The next thing is, Wilmington has a long history of political independence and community pride. And there's been an ongoing effort. You know, every day I read in the newspaper where we in America are properly offended that the Russians interfere in our election. And I'm equally offended that every election cycle, there's a bunch of people who live outside of Wilmington who want to control and own Wilmington, and they interfere in our election in Wilmington. So the same people who complain about Trump find it okay to do that to Wilmingtonians. And increasing the size of districts helps them to do that. And staggering elections increases the opportunity for the people who want to buy our political offices to be successful in doing that. Now, we started out this council session with there being several people who can, in leadership positions, who wanted to get rid of half of us. And we said we didn't want to do that. To me, staggering is it's the slippery slope of moving toward getting rid of half of us. So what you do is you chop us into two parts. And then later on, as the folks who are trying to buy Wilmington are successful, then it's easier to chop off half of the people when you have folks staggered. So staggering is the step to cutting us in half. So I just want to share those comments for the record.